Next, we're going to practice using diagrams to add vectors together in 2 dimensions and 1 dimension also. Okay, let's say a person walks a displacement of 30 meters east, and then they turn and walk a displacement of 40 meters north. Let's use a diagram to represent the sum of these displacements. So we want to draw these two vectors head to tail, right? And let's just remind ourselves about the directions on the compass. That way is north, this is west, this is east, and this is south. Okay, so let's draw vector x1. Here it is. This is x1. It's a change in position. It's a displacement. That's equal 30 meters. Okay, I'm just going to put the magnitude there. And next we draw vector x2. And here it is. It is 40 meters. So here is delta x2 equals 40 meters. And the resultant vector, the sum of those two vectors, extends from the tail of the first vector to the head of the second vector. This is R, the result. And this green arrow represents the vector sum. Delta x1 plus delta x2. Okay. Now, it actually doesn't matter which order we draw them in. You could see that I could have drawn delta x2 first, and then drawn delta x1 second, and regardless of which order you draw them in, you end up at the same place. When adding vectors on a diagram, the vectors added must be arranged so that they lie head to tail. The sum of the vectors extends from the tail of the first vector to the head of the second vector. And we're going to practice. So I've drawn a few vectors. I've got 5 of them. I've labeled them A, B, C, D, and E. Notice that I've used bold font. So when typing vectors, the convention is to use bold font. When writing with a pen or pencil, the convention is to draw that little vector hat arrow thing, just to tell the reader that this is a vector quantity. So let's draw these sums now. I'll do the first one for you. You've got A plus B. Now, when you're drawing these, I want you to draw them just the way I have. So you'll notice that for A, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right, and we go 1, 2, 3 places up to get to the head of A. So let's use that when we are drawing our vectors. I'm going to start A here and go 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right, and 1, 2, 3 places up, and I'll draw my vector. Whoopsie daisy. Here it is, my vector, and label it A. And now I'm ready to draw B. And B is 1, 2 places up, 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the left. So I go 1, 2 places up, 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the left. And here is vector B. And the resultant extends from the tail of the first vector to the head of the last vector. This is A plus B. Now notice also, it doesn't matter which vector I add first. So let me do this again. I'm going to move this over 1 square. Okay, so I have that room. Let's do this again. Okay, I'm going to start with vector B this time. Here it is, and vector B, I'm going to move over 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the left, and 1, 2 up, and here we have a vector B. And now I can draw vector A, Vector A starts now at the head of vector B and extends 1, 2, 3, 4 places over, 3 places up, bum, 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 goes to there. Here's vector A. Notice the sum. It's the same, right? The sum of vector A plus B is, well, 5 units up. Okay. Now, as an exercise, I'm going to let you do the rest on your own.